I want to discuss the price of fame. I think too many people they get caught up in the glamour of things. I think that's really the part of the problem. So the idea you can have this, you can have that, you never have to worry about things, and it's all like goggle eyes. You convince yourself of a fairy tale, and rarely do you get anything without losing something else. So effectively, to have fame, to have popularity, notoriety, recognition, it comes at the cost of your privacy. And in some ways, your independence. You may gain independence through financial freedom, but there's an obligation attached to that. So you will lose parts of who you are. And some of those parts may never be restored ever again. So it's about making peace with the fact that life will change and you may never have something you had before. And it's something that I constantly sort of torment myself by fighting against. Like I said, some people seek fame for the notion of fame. I've never understood that. What is the point? Like, what a million people think of you or their attention on you. I've never understood that. How does that validate your life? How does that make you feel important? Why can't you feel important without that? These are things to heal. You shouldn't need that spotlight on you to feel valid in your life. So what I do when I talk about challenging topics and the thing, within my books and the content I do, there's always the potential that it can affect more people than you perhaps expect or even plan. So the fame the fame and recognition, notoriety, all those things. It can be a consequence of the work you did, but that wasn't your expectation, and certainly wasn't the goal. So the price, of course, is fundamentally that we lose parts of ourselves in the process, and some of that you may never have a choice anyway, because you don't get to decide how people react to something you do. But on top of that, when we actually talk about price and we think about tangible, like in terms of money, that's something else entirely. Because like when you see successful people, and especially those in the spotlight, it's easy to think, well, why have they got that? Why should they have that? But when you live a life where you get to live far more humble, you get to live in the background, you don't have to be in the spotlight. You only have to interact with people that you want to interact with. You'll never have people just burden you. There'll never be people potentially obsessed with you. You won't have to worry about a lot of the problems those in the spotlight do have to handle. So sometimes you may need security, you may need certain things, but even if you don't need those things, it's almost like you should at least be reimbursed for the hassle. So it stands to reason that someone with a bigger platform, well, because naturally they've got a bigger audience, so people would be invested in them. So then there would be the room to have finances. But even if you take away the fact that you would naturally have that, I think personally, through the hassle that you're going through, your life has been torn upside down. It should be rewarded, you know. So you shouldn't. Why on earth should someone who has that a level, like a deep hassle in their life, sort of have to sort of like eke their way and struggle financially through life? It's like, where's the balance in any of it? That's just crazy. Now I get a lot of signs in my life about success coming, and like I said, I'm always at odds with it because I don't do anything for popularity, and I don't seek others to be obsessed with me in any way, like for good and bad. I'm ambivalent in a way, but it's a hassle, isn't it? I like to live normal. I like to be able to just walk around, do what the hell I want, and no one really knows. It's like you're just getting on living life. It's just something that we all take for granted. But there might be a day in your life when that no longer becomes the norm. And like, for instance, if I was ever in the spotlight, I don't think I'd understand people's fascination with it. And primarily because I've never been fascinated by other people's attention to spotlight. It's like, I don't care. If there's a famous person walking down the street, I just don't care. You might recognize, oh yeah, I've seen him in that. That's weird. The only part that wouldn't even say overwhelming. It'd be the fact that what are the odds of that person being in the same place as me? That's all that would be. That's the literally the highlight of it for me. Is like, what are the odds of that? That's crazy. Just because they're recognized, and it's like a needle in a haystack. You know, how the hell did that pin end up where I am? Is crazy. That is literally the extent of my fascination with it. Beyond that, I just recognize they're a person going about their day. Other people attune sort of status to it. It's just strange. So it's almost like it's just desperate to be in their bubble of influence. And it's why? Things to consider, of course. But if someone, like I said, if someone's living with a hassle, then in my opinion, they should be rewarded for it. So, so the point there is for me to, if it's for me to be in the spotlight, there would have to be like something attached. Obviously, if it comes through something I'm doing naturally and organically, like through my books, through my content, there's nothing I can do about it, you know. But again, by doing that, you would assume sales are higher, so you're growing and you're improving naturally through it. If it's working for someone and an opportunity through that, then you'd expect to be rewarded fair for the hassle. You know, so if it's a case of someone was approach you, you get an opportunity, they know it's going to put you in the spotlight, but they're not going to reward you adequately. But yet, you know, maybe a bit more comfortable than you are now, and that might seem fair. But it's like, no, I understand the level of hassle that's going to cause to my life. That's going to cause an absolute upheaval, and I will never get my life back how it was before. You know, so it better be rewarded fairly. So again, some people will I would say misconstrue, but some people will just consider it greedy. They just think you're being greedy, and it's like it's not. It's being rewarded for the hassle, because some of us just don't give a shit about any of that spotlight crap. Like I say, I see every angle of most things. So if there's a topic at hand or situation in life, I'm not someone who just puts the blinkers on and just sees this. I see everything. I look at the entire outlook of it all. So, for instance, let's say an opportunity comes and it's someone like majority of things from America when you talk about popularity and fame, isn't it? So think about the hassle that would incur. Even if you had to go to a meeting, you've got to fly all the way out there. So it's a whole, to some people like all that. Some people, it's an immense hassle. The logistics that's involved. Again, some people don't think that. They just naturally think you meet this person. Oh, that's how. No, you've got to get to the airport. You've got to book. You've got to get all your flights booked. You have to go through security. You've got to go through the whole immigration situation. You have to go through the whole process, both ends. You have to go on a flight for like 8-10 hours. It's like, that's a hell of a long flight. That's agony. Then when you get off the flight, you've then got to try and figure your way out and navigate to wherever the hell the meeting is. And if it's overstaying, of course, you've got to piss about of a hotel. And then I know these are like things you'd consider on holiday, but when it's not a holiday and it's a transaction, that's a whole process. And some people would find that stressful. Me traveling that far would piss me off, to be totally honest. It's like, that's not an easy flight. That's not an easy situation, especially if you have to do it solo. It's like you've got no one to bounce ideas off and figure this process out. But let's say you do all that, and then let's say you do well with that, and then you gain an opportunity. People on the outside didn't see that process of pushing yourself outside your comfort zone, and then having to meet other people and then go through this process. It's, you know, and even the process to get there in the first place. How did that person notice you? How did you get recognized? You know, it's like you don't just get recognized for like one little thing you do. It's usually a culmination of something you've done. So like I say, I'm going to show an example of part of the sign I have. And it's only one of many. That, believe me, I'm spiritual and I get a lot of signs from the universe, and I get annoyed with the universe a lot because I say, stop showing me this shit because I don't want to hear it. You know, I've heard of opportunities coming for years, like, and it feels closer than ever, naturally, but I do get fed up hearing it. But something come up in this thing, and it was a case of, it's like almost like some people are aware of who I am, and it's almost like they answer to someone more powerful, prominent, who has the opportunity. I don't know. And it's a case of like you may end up meeting this person, and the person could end up asking you like who is this, and what could you bring? Like what is it you can offer? Like almost like you have to explain what benefit you would bring. And that's the worst thing anyone could ever do with me. That is the worst thing you can do. If you're looking for a positive reaction from me in a situation like that, that's going to piss me off. You know, look, don't waste my time. I'm not. I don't beg for nothing. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm not, and I don't sell myself. These are two things I don't do. I don't beg, and I don't sell myself. So if I'm ever in a situation and someone says, Like, why should I hire? Why should I hire you? It's your choice. It's not. That's not my decision. I'm not here to beg. I'm not here to sell myself. You know, if you don't know who I am when I meet you, then why the hell am I here? Don't play ignorant until I'm in front of you, because I don't give a shit about none of that. Again, I don't see anyone above or below me, so I couldn't give a shit who the person is. It could be the highest lord of the highest land. You know, it's like, for me, you're just a person and you're playing ignorant right now. If you're playing games with me, I don't play games. So that's disrespectful to me. I just see it as an immense disrespect immediately. I'm quite fiery, so like I'm like, you know what? I don't respect you right now, because if you're asking me what I can do for you, when if you've got me all the way to somewhere and you have the audacity to ask me that shit, it's like, don't waste my time. I'm gone. Because you pissed me off. I'm gone now. Like, I'm not even wasting my time. It could be millions. It could be someone with a massive contract that's going to be like millions, and then maybe they flew on a private jet from their private island. That don't impress me, none of that shit. I don't care. If someone saw something in me and enough to get me somewhere, and the person ahead of them is so arrogant and up their arse that they want me to sort of like effectively beg, you got the wrong guy. You got the wrong guy. I'm going, I'd rather be poor. Thank you very much. You can have your island. You can have your luxury lot. You can have all that shit. You know, and if that's it, because I mean, I'm all principle minded. So it's a case of like, no chance, mate. I'm good. I'm navigating life, I consider, in a beautiful way. I have a deep connection to spirit divine, which I don't press on people. Again, I know it's digressing from any potential talk of fame, but I'm all right on my own little way through life. Spirit needs me to write a book and I feel an urge to do something, I just get on doing it. You know, if things are going to get recognized after my time, so maybe in this time I get really frustrated because I'm not successful. I don't perceive it as success, but I'm laying the groundwork for another generation, even if it's after my lifetime. And in this lifetime, I'm pissed off. I can accept that. I'm not happy in that situation, but I can accept that. I'll always do what I feel called to do. So although like any human disrespectful, I'll just say I'm done. But if spirit annoys me, I'll get annoyed for a moment, but I'll always respond to them in the best way. You know, so I'll always do things for the highest good. And that's just the way I am. So effectively, when all this life is finished, I have no doubt that if my books are like to help in the way that I think they will, and I didn't get to see it in this life, I have no doubt I'll get to see it from the other side. But that's how I navigate. So I really don't care for fame. It's a hindrance. It's annoying. So for me to be in the spotlight to a level that maybe some people would in the future expect of me or want me, it's like, I better be rewarded somehow, you know? And that's not me trying to be greedy. It's just it's just an understanding that I've lost a lot to have this. Otherwise, I'm more than happy just to live in a very hermit life, very much behind the scenes, crafting and creating, and just doing what I'm doing. I can just do that. Now, I'm not. Look, I come across. I know how I come across. I'm a very polarizing person, and it's only because if I feel something's disrespectful, it will get my back up immediately. So if I lose respect for someone, for me that time our connection's finished now. Like, I could be jovial, I could be fun, I could be having such a laugh, but if you're really, really, really disrespectful, then I'll flip a switch. I'll cut you off immediately. Because now my opinion of you has changed so drastic that I don't trust you and I don't respect you. Connection's finished. But it doesn't mean I'm like that all the time. So I can actually be a lot of fun. I can have a laugh. I can be the life of the party. I can be the center of the group. But I don't always want to. I can do it. I can be comfortable, but I also like to just sit back and let everybody else have their time in the spotlight too. You know, I don't need to be in the spotlight all the time. I'm good. You know? So the point is, look, again, it's how people treat you, isn't it? So now, let's say an opportunity does come. I'm not with the, I don't interact with the idea of being arrogant. Again, it's how people treat you. So if I was to meet someone and they were absolutely respectful, because I pick up energy anyway, I'd know if you're being superficial. I'd know if you're being condescending, if you're trying to be patronizing, you're trying to put me down in a very sarcastic way and you think I can't see it. I see everything. So if someone is genuinely has the best of intentions and they're positive and fair, then they'll actually get someone who's genuinely, I'll meet them at that. And if I think someone goes the extra mile for me, I'll always go the extra mile for them. So like loyalty is always like where it's reciprocated. So I'm as loyal as someone is loyal to me. Simple as that. So if you're going to play games with me, then expect my loyalty to fade. Don't expect me to be an idiot that just stays loyal because I feel obligated to something, because I never feel that way. I don't feel obligated to anything. I always give as much as I get. So if someone gives me an opportunity, for instance, and it's like, they will benefit just as much as I will. But it doesn't mean I'm obligated to stay with them for the rest of my life. So it's understandably naive. But it's like, again, the loyalty is where it's fair. It's not about chasing money. I don't give a shit about that. So like, even if it's not a case of if someone was to throw more money at you, you go, oh yeah, I'm definitely going. No. Because that could be a horrible, corrupt industry or person or company. I don't just chase that shit. I'll pick up on energy. And of course, I'm very much guided by spirit anyway. So wherever they tell me to, even if I'm pissed off, I'll still follow what I feel called to do. Because there must be a reason for it. So there's things. But it's bigger than all of us, I know this is digressed quite a bit, but part of it, what I want to do is empower people to believe in themselves and have principles in life. Once you forgo your principles, you lose your identity. When you lose your identity, you're easily corrupted. Then you go on a spiral of just worshipping others, jumping at every opportunity just because you feel a semblance of success. And again, if you start chasing recognition, when does that end? How much fame is enough fame? And all these things, it's just stupid. It's that effectively, I can guarantee you, people who are genuine in the spotlight in a deep, deep way, they might have enjoyed it for periods, might boost their ego a little, but there'd be parts of them that dream of just one day being an ordinary person, just being able to do ordinary things. So that's like a superpower to them. They would love to go have that opportunity, because once you're in the spotlight, you're in the spotlight. So what is it? It's the same thing in life in general. Things are so polarizing. One person's dream is another person's nightmare, and one person's nightmare is another person's dream. So it's like, you can crave this and you can crave that because that's what you don't have. But the thing you crave could be the thing that destroys your peace. So it's really got to be calculated and understanding. So like, if you ask me, if someone asked me, what is it you want? Like, what is it I genuinely want? But I know it can't happen. It can't happen without a consequence. And I accept the consequence if it's fair. Me personally, I'd like to create. I don't care about popularity, fame, and all that shit. I don't care. I want it to help as many people as possible. And of course, I want to be financially free, where I actually have freedom in my life to make all the choices I want to make. And that's what it comes down to. It's not financial freedom to the point of being like someone who just is flamboyant and wastes money all over the place. I just want that level of freedom in my life. That's what I crave. So I crave freedom, and I crave time to be able to create, and I crave the ability to help people. That's really what I want to do. Now, all those things come with consequences. Think about it. If you help people en masse, they're going to know who you are. Some people will deeply want to be interested. Now, all of a sudden, you are recognized, you are famous, even though that's not what you craved. You just wanted to help people. The consequence of helping people is notoriety. So now you're in the spotlight. You don't have your privacy, which is the first thing I said at the beginning. I'd like to be able to do that in the background. You can't do it in the background. It's not sustainable. So you have to be. Would you be comfortable in the spotlight? I don't really give a shit. So yeah, I could handle it, because I can handle the praise. I can handle the criticism. But but it's the same with anyone that's in those positions. I think, like I said, I don't think most of them want that. That level of attention on them. But it's the consequence. So can you handle the consequence? And you won't truly know until you're in it. But you'll have an awareness if you've done enough introspection. Like, I'm aware of it. So I know good and bad. But again, how people treat you is really how people treat you is a consequence of how you allow them to. So I have certain ways about me that are different to the average person, really. And I think I just see things I wouldn't say unique, because I think there's people that have similar ideas on certain topics. But even in the average thing, like, I see people getting harassed all the time just because they're recognized. Oh, sign this photo with this, time with me here. And then as soon as they don't, there's always this villaination on social media, this person's the celebrities that are horrible and all this stuff. It's like you don't know what they're going through that day. You don't know what appointment they've got, so you don't know their schedule. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know how they feel. Why should they give their time to every single person that harasses them? You're invading their time, their energy, their space. And you think they should give you that time and energy just because you've then bombarded them? That's really naive and stupid. Like, do you know what I mean? And as someone who really couldn't give a shit, if 1 minute people love me and the other time, the moment they hate me, I don't give a crap about opinions. What do I care? So, like, 1 minute I could be helping someone. You know, this is the thing with me. And I'm not saying it just to make people go, oh, he's lovely. I'm not lovely. I can be lovely and I can be a pain in the arse. And you'll never know what you're going to get in a situation. But again, a lot of times it's how people treat me. But it will be based on other things. But again, that goes full circle. If I'm really busy and you can't appreciate that and you want to get in my face and start acting like an asshole because you think I'm rude, it's like, you're being fucking rude, mate. You're the one that come and harass me. I didn't ask for this shit. I'm busy and I'm trying to be as respectful as I can in telling you I'm busy. I don't have time for this right now. You know, if you can't be respectful of me, then I'm not going to be respectful of you. So the moment you hate me, I don't like you either. So what are we even having a conversation for? Now you want to put me in my place because I've got an opinion? Why don't you bugger off? I'll get on with my day. We both walk away not liking each other because you couldn't have the freaking decency to respect my boundaries. What do I... Piss off. Do you know what I mean? If someone recorded me like that, like I'm talking now, you'd think this guy's an absolute unhinged asshole. I can be, for sure. Yeah, why not? What do I care? Now, another person, it might be in a moment where I've got time on my hands. I feel like I can help someone. I've got energy. Someone might come up and approach me and they, have you got a moment? Yeah. Again, it's going to be how you approach. If I haven't got a moment, I say no, and you respect that, then great. It's a good exchange. Maybe we meet again. If you're going to be an asshole, then just expect the energy to be matched. So this is the thing, like, if I've got time on my hands and there's someone I feel called to help, because I can't feel called to help every single bloody person. Go help yourself. But there might be a time when I feel like I really feel called to intervene here. Like, I'm going to give you I'm going to have a moment here. And I might even have people around me who are trying to influence me, like trying to, I mean, let's say, I'm not saying this is who I am, but a lot of time you have an entourage, even if it's not what you want. It might be like a studio's giving you these people and you need to be on a schedule. I understand being timekeeping and all that, but if I felt called to help someone and I had people around me going, no, you ain't got time. Shut up. I wouldn't, but look, I don't, if someone's not rude to me, I'm not really rude to them, but I'm saying, like, it'd be a case of like, look, no one's in charge of me. I'm not a project. I'm not a pet. I'm not a commodity. Okay? No one owns me. I would never be owned. Now, I'm going to go and talk to this person. And I would give people my time if I felt I was called to do it. And it wouldn't cost them a penny. So if I felt genuinely like someone could do with my help, and even if it meant sit there for an hour with them, and it's a complete stranger, I would do that. And it's like, because I love that personal side of things. I can handle groups and I can handle one-on-ones. I prefer one-on-ones, and I think it's nice if it's someone that's genuine, someone actually you can have a deep, conversation with, and it will help them, or it helps you. And for the right people, yeah. But there's a lot of people that are opportunists. They want the autographs to sell it. They want the photo of you because they might Photoshop it and do other shit with it, and it's like, it's a lot of harassment. Now, I might, you know what I mean? And this is what annoys me. And then you see it on social media and the guy's an asshole because they had their own opinion on it, or they just handled it this way. Let's say you're in a relationship and you just started dating someone. We just booked a restaurant. I'm just going to go and, life's finally getting a bit better. I'm just going to go and I just really want to go and have that moment. All I'm interested in is that person. They're literally, I've been at work all day. I've been doing projects. Let's say who knows what the hell I've been doing. I'm really excited to go and meet this person. And on the way in, I got a load of people harassing me. It's like, you're between me and them. And that it's all about respect. Normal people don't go around harassing people. That's my point. Like, someone could be attending something in the area where I am, and it's like, I don't give a shit. Let them go attend it. But you always get weirdos that have to go and harass people. Do you see what I mean? Like, the average person doesn't care, but they'll form an opinion online because you look rude. It's like, yeah, but who are the people harassing them? It's not me, not my people like me don't go doing that shit. So what sort of people are they? They're either the opportunists that want to sell something at your expense because you've given your time and energy to them. Now they've exploited it. Or it's someone that's got an obsession where they can't control themselves and they've put you on a pedestal beyond reality. You're a fantasy now to them, which makes them deluded. Now, I'm not saying everybody. Like, if someone that's camping out waiting for you, I think it's nuts overall. Now, I'm not saying, can't say every single person, but overall, unless they've got a real deep, they really want to talk about something. If you was like randomly in the area and you heard someone's going to be there and you're a fan of them, I can understand that. But I think getting to the point where you expect something, for me, this is why I find people fascinated, but I also find them nuts. It's like, if I was in the vicinity of someone and they were there, maybe I would be curious, maybe I wouldn't. I can't say I can't envisage a moment where I'd be that curious that I have to go up to them and just desperate to meet them, either ask for a photo or an autograph. What's their signature going to do in my life? A photo could be pretty cool, I guess, if you're interested in all that shit, but I don't know. I just don't, like me, I don't envisage ever behaving like that. So I know we're all unique and we're all different, but I'm just showing my take on it to show that if I was ever in a spotlight, there's no guarantee how I'll handle any situation, because I think each situation will be unique depending on, again, your schedule. And it's not for other people to know that shit. Let's say you're rude, and then people on social media say a load of crap, and then you have to come out and publicly say, it's taken out of context. You shouldn't even have to go through the hassle of explaining yourself. And me, I'm a principally minded person. So there's a chance that maybe in a situation like that, I wouldn't explain myself. I'd let people just come up with their own fantasies about me. You can start going, this guy's completely arrogant. If fame's got to his head, things like that would never get to my head. It's just, I wouldn't accept that now. It's a bit like, to put that into context, it's a bit like this thing where they say, let's say you get wealthy, you become wealthy, and then someone asks you for money, and then you say no, and they go, fame's changed you, you've changed. No. Your request of money is what changed. You never asked me for money before. So before I got this opportunity and all this, you weren't even there to help me get to my opportunity. You didn't support any of my journey. You definitely never asked me for anything. So you didn't ask me for this, but you never supported me with that. And now that I'm there, the dynamics change, because now you're expecting to take off me, and I never suggested that I would give you. So where has it changed me? Where did I change? I've always intended to be a philanthropist. Is it? I want to be someone where you obviously you start with yourself, you build your foundation, you live a good life. We all deserve to be happy. You shouldn't have to just forgo your own happiness to try to act like a messiah. I'm not interested in all of that. I keep making that clear. I don't give a shit about public image. I don't. If anyone ever thinks you need to behave this way, I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. I'll do things how I want to do things, but I would help a lot of people, because that's my intention. It's not a case of me going, "Oh, I know I will." I just will, because I want to help people, but I want to help the right people. I want to help people who are vulnerable, but they're vulnerable not through their own conscious decisions. I'm not going to say not by their own choices, because things happen in life. We can make bad decisions. We can be vulnerable. We might not have had the right education, the right support around us. There's reasons why we get ourselves in problems. So I wouldn't want to just judge someone because they make bad decisions when literally they don't realize how they're making it, and they haven't got the resources, So look, it's not a case of I'd only help one type of person, because naturally the first thing that pops into my mind is a single parent. I don't want to just say single mothers, because there's many fathers who are doing just as great a job as a woman would do, and they're independent with their children, and they don't get the recognition for it at all. They don't. It's always like the single mum, like they're the most vulnerable. Single fathers can be vulnerable too. So single parents, for sure. Where they're struggling. That's something I definitely want to help. I would definitely want to help people if I was doing well for myself, because that's a really big thing. That's a lot of pressure on both sides. So, a child's maybe they don't have the things that maybe they'd love to have, and the parent would love to give to them, and they're stressed. They don't have time to themselves. They're doing everything they can. They don't get rewarded for it. There's no money to be gained, of course, and you're struggling to do things that other people would take for granted. so you don't have the same opportunities. So not only is your life hard, so is your child's. And I think if you can find a way to find a balance to that, to help give that parent some level of independence without them having to lose access to their children, I think something has to be done. Like me personally, I think that's the answer. It can't be just like childcare, because I know what it's like to be attached to your children, especially when they're young. You know, you don't want to just be a workhorse. You want that intimate moment with your children. You want to be able to be there as they grow up. You want to be a big part of their life. But I think there's a part where you should be able to go off and maybe just do a couple of hours of work. I don't think you should be expected to do full-time shifts. It's ridiculous. People having to do that, that's too much. You can't raise a child, work full-time on your own, and be expected to have a balanced life. You're going to be exhausted because you're getting pushed left, right, and center. You know, it's too much. But I think there should be a balance there. And I personally think people should be paid a lot more money than they do anyway. Anyone that works full-time hours should definitely be able to live a prosperous life. I don't think it should be a case of you just get to exist, pay your bills, barely got anything left, and no matter what you do. And I get fed up with that in society, where people ridicule someone. Oh, you're just this, you're just that. It doesn't matter what they do. They still work hard for the same hours you work. In fact, they probably work harder. Okay, you have more skill set. You start thinking you're better than them. That's just arrogance. That's egotistical. It's like literally delusional. This person's working harder than you, and you have the audacity to tell them they're just this. Get your head out your ass. That person works their ass off. They deserve to live a life where they freaking can thrive. Everybody should have the potential to thrive. But, you know, the way the economy is, the way the life is, the politics and everything, it's all suppressive. Everything strains the average person. And you find it's the wealthy get wealthier and the poor the poorer. And it's just, that's not right. So I would never, so if anyone ever said fame's got to, or money's got to your head, it would never get to my head. Because I've been there and I've seen what it's like to struggle. And I think that's the part that would bother me in a wealthy society, is being surrounded by people who don't know what it's like to be in that situation and have a deep opinion on it and judge people, because that would really annoy me. I think, how the hell do you know anything about that when you haven't even done that, been there? Now, if you ain't got a deep opinion on it and you're not judging people, then fine, because you can have an opinion on something. But if you haven't actually experienced that, then you need to get off your high horse, because it's easy when you've had a spoon up your ass, you know, and you've always had the money and privilege. You don't know what it's like. Like for me personally, life's a freaking hardship. I get my things. Like I've just shown. I did a video. I just got a Switch. Oh crap! I lost it. Have I lost it already? Oh, the other side. I can't get it. But all right, I got a Switch 2. I've had to get it on a finance thing. It's a whole process. Can I afford one right now outright? No, I can't afford one right now outright. Can I afford all the games for it? Not at a minute. And here I am talking about potential fame and stuff, you know, but I know what it's like to be at the bottom. You could say, oh, you've got a Switch 2. You must be doing it. No, I'm not really. It's not the best financial option. It's just I'm trying to rebuild my credit, and there's nuances to it. And I talk about it a lot. Like I might treat myself to something, but believe me, it comes with a consequence. I'm not financially free, even in the slightest. I go from literally living on naught to £50 left by the end of the month, sometimes minus. You know, that's my life. So if someone who never worries about money looks down on someone who is just trying to get by in this world, you know, I just think you're so detached and delusional. You know, you don't even know what it's like. So if someone thinks having thousands in your bank account and not like hundreds of thousands or something, oh my God, you must be struggling. It's like, you don't know what struggle is, mate. If you think that's struggle, you don't know what struggle is. Struggle is literally going through each month and not knowing how the hell you're supposed to cover all your bills. I've got that this month. Like I said, I make some decisions that are borderline mental, but I stand by them. You know, I'm balanced the numbers in my head, and they're not even big numbers, but they're big numbers to me. They're enough numbers to push me into the negative, and I'm sort of like managing that. I've got a tooth situation that needs to be addressed. I've got to travel for that. 100 miles each way, so that's petrol, that's fuel. I'm not sure if I've even got enough of the fuel. So although I've got the Switch thing right now, I haven't actually paid for it yet. The payment isn't for a little while. So it doesn't affect the tooth. So that's irrelevant to that, even though most people will attach things, go, oh, if you can afford that. It's different because it's not the time. This is sooner. So the point is, money can get that tight that you look at your situation, it affects your health. Because if I don't get this tooth sorted, it's supposed to have a crown attached to it, and if I don't get the crown put on, there's a good chance I may end up the where it needs to attach is going to be too eroded, so I could end up losing that whole tooth area unnecessarily just for a basic amount of money. That's literally what it's like when you're at the bottom. Your health takes a hit, and it have a long-term consequence. And even other things like your food and all those little things, things that some people take for granted. They might go out for meals all the time, and other people, like even just me at times, you're struggling just to have food in your cupboard and fridge. You go from one moment where you've got plenty of food and you go, oh, this is nice, but it ain't sustainable. You're not always going to have everything full. And yet some people can just go and get fresh food all the time. It's so easy. They can just buy what they want. They don't even have to look at the price. Go out to these fancy restaurants. Not begrudging people of things they have, but the point is, if those sort of people have an opinion on someone who is struggling and you think it's easy to get out of there, it's like you haven't been there. A lot of time it comes down to networking and connections and who you know. If you're surrounded by people who can always give you opportunities and it just doesn't end, that's completely different to people who are detached from everybody else. It's a lot harder not to have when you haven't got that influence. Again, I know we're going full circle here but I think it's important if you're going to talk about fame. Like I said, I'm quite polarizing. So if you're going to sort of like talk about fame, then I think you've got to talk about poverty. So the disparity between the two is huge. But at the same time, you can live in the shadows. You can live a very simple life and understand. I think there's a lot to learn in struggle. I think it is. It makes you so strong. It can actually, obviously, some people, it can actually give them real deep issues because they can't handle it. But if you can handle struggle, then I just think you become formidable. Like, I'm a very strong, resilient person. And a lot of it, I think, is from the challenges I've had in life. Because I've been tested countless times and I get through everything, And I just think, yeah, I would rather have that background and that resilience and know I have that resilience than be someone that's flaky, someone who's had opportunity. I'm not begrudging people the opportunity they've had, but how are they going to handle real tough moments in life, things that really deeply challenge them, when they haven't been tested and they don't even know if they can handle it? Because then they might not even have the confidence in themselves to get through something. Whereas I've been through loads and I get through it, So, yeah, I mean, so we can get fed up with our circumstance and think like life's not fair, but like, look how strong I am, And it's like I know that in myself. So, like I just said at the beginning, there, like I don't care if I struggle for my whole life and I only get to see sort of like the success after I'm gone. If that's my life, that's my life. I can handle it in the trenches. I can handle it in the gutter. So let's say you meet someone and it's like they think because they've got all this money and this opportunity and the connections, and they think you're naturally going to worship them. And then you turn around and walk away, and then they say something like, I'm not saying that's how it would go, but let's say it went that way. And they go, well, if you leave, you don't ever come back. You never have this opportunity again. It's like, and they'd think it's mental to walk back into poverty. Who the hell walks away from this dream life to go back there? Because back there's real. Back there, you genuinely have freedom. You literally make your own decisions. All the other stuff's an illusion. No doubt it can bring you happiness in periods, and it can make you feel safe, but it might be a false sense of safety because at any moment it can all get pulled from under you. And throughout, you're going to be dictated to and told to do this, and the expectation here, and there's a burden all the time. And then on top of all the influence and the pressure you're under that side, you're going to have people on the outside who watch in, who will consider like fans or people that don't like you, are going to have an opinion all the time on every little decision you make. And it's like, reality is you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. So you can't always win. So that's really where So anyway, I know we've gone quite deep here, but again, what did I say? My mind goes everywhere. I think of every possible outcome. I think of all the beautiful moments, how it could possibly be, and you think this would be a nice life. Like, that'd be far different to anything I've ever had. That'd be nice. But then I also am realistic, and then I start thinking about all the bad things that can happen. The corruption, the negativity, the influence, the way people take you for granted, There'd be people get spiteful. let's say you've got the opportunity and you're doing well. There might be someone who wants what you have. It might even be someone who has opportunity. It might be someone in a very similar field. They start sabotaging you. They might even tend to pretend to mentor you and be like your friend, and you might confide in them. And then they betray you, or they use something you did and they use it as and act like it was theirs. All these little subservient things. So yeah, the beauty on one side, nightmare on the other side. I think sometimes you just got to appreciate what you have. And I think that's where it starts, isn't it? It's like, be comfortable with what you have. Like, my house is modest. It's quite small. I think if someone famous, someone wealthy, someone successful was to come to my home, I think they'd be like, they'd try to smile, but they'd probably think, oh, this is a bit small. This isn't, it's about as big as my kitchen or something. It's about, okay, yeah, this is my little comfort place. So I don't really care. Like, I can't, I can imagine it's beautiful where you come from. I can imagine you have all this and it's nice. But I've made my little bit of peace, my little place where I call it like a cozy corner. So I've made cozy spaces in my home. So my bedroom I find quite cozy. I find it quite relaxing. I can chill out. My living room I find really, really cozy. So once you're in the zone and you're cozy, it doesn't really matter about all the massive surroundings. It's all illusion, isn't it? Where are you when you're in that space? I'm all right. I'm peaceful. So although it can obviously be nicer in an upgrade, it's like, I have this still. And yeah, I have bills and I have all these problems and there's these issues here. But that always it gets resolved one way or another. And you've managed to make it through. I'm still alive. Think about that. Like, we're all breathing. So yeah, I mean, it's just, again, it all comes down to perspectives though, doesn't it? What one person thinks is a nightmare, another person considers paradise. So what I have to put up with, someone else might think this is an absolute nightmare. I'd shoot myself. And it's like, that's because you're weak. Because you actually couldn't handle it. You can't handle the challenge. Whereas I thrive under pressure. So I can handle the challenges. I see everything as a way to learn and grow and evolve. So although it's pressure, it's also a challenge to me, which challenge actually makes me thrive. So it tests me, and I'm always testing myself. So let's just take on this. It's more like a tool, another badge to wear, It's like an upgrade. It's always something to do that. And like I said, and then when it comes to, I think what it is, you can humble yourself to appreciate the smaller things as well. So again, some of the things that someone else maybe would look down on, I was like, oh, I like that. It makes me happy. So then okay, you don't have as much as someone else, but you're happy with what you have. So that means, as much as that would be nice to have something better, don't necessarily need something better. So when I said at the beginning there, the price of fame, for me to have to lose what I consider peaceful, my little sanctuary, to push me out of that, it better be worth my time. Whether it's financial or whether it's like an upgrading opportunity, whatever, it just better be worth my time. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. If someone's just going to offer me a very small opportunity and it's just going to be a lot of upheaval and there's going to be the potential for all this chaos, why would I bother? Like, why would I bother? It's a waste of my time. I'm all right. I can just work my books in my background. Do you know what I mean? At bare minimum, I can just do the books for the rest of my life. I've got 3 manuscripts still to do, even though I've got 6 books out. So it's another 3, I'm at 9. And I've still got other books beyond that I've got concepts that I was working on. I get fed up sometimes because, again, I think if there's not enough momentum that I perceive to be successful, I think at the moment I've done enough. But if I think about a lifetime, I think I've done enough. I'm only 42, but I still feel I've done enough. And yet the potential is still there that if I just push myself a little bit, boom, the others get done. But right now I'm at a place where I'm like, I don't feel like doing it. I genuinely don't feel like doing it. Even though I could easily, I can't even be bothered. But that's just the place I'm at the moment. But yeah, if that's all I do for life, live this existence that I'm doing now, work on my book projects when I want to, and do some videos, do this, I'm all right. I'm good. I found the niche that I enjoy doing. I found something that could keep me entertained for the rest of my life. So I don't need the fame. I don't need all the other shit that comes with it. But can I handle it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could handle it because I'm not naive. I know I would know what I'm walking into. And I see life as not just chapters anymore. I used to think of life like chapters of a book, and it is to a sense, but I actually see it as sometimes entirely new books. I've had this experience. And yeah, I don't think there's much more to learn in it. Like, so when you look at the situations you're in, it's like sometimes there's things to learn. I feel like I've learned a lot, and I don't think there's much more to learn in the depravity I've got. But if I'm successful, even wealthy, famous, if you think about it that sense, it's like there's a lot of new things for me to experience that will test me and that will challenge me, but it'll also make me incredibly resilient and strong. So then you know the best of both worlds. At the moment, I only have a perception of that side. You know, I don't know it. I've not experienced it. So I think to be completely rounded and completely evolved, you encompass both. You have both experiences. So you'll know the positives, the negatives, the good and the bad, and all those things, and and all the little nuances that connect everything. You know. Um. So yeah, it's just I just thought I would really touch on that. So what I really want people to stop being naive. That's one of the big things. It's this idea that we all want to be famous. It's like some people don't. You know, I think the idea that you want, like, again, I find social media polarizing. It winds me up. I don't even want to do it half the time. So sometimes I enjoy just posting, and after I'm like, oh, I hate this crap. It's like I don't like, because it always feels like a popularity contest. And I always feel people are quick to project their misery for no reason. So that's why I just don't like comments. It's like, I'm not worried about people's comments. I'm just fed up giving people a platform who have nothing better to do than try to ruin someone else's work. And I find it sad and pathetic. So I'd rather just not give them a platform to do that shit and make them maybe look at their own lives and just focus a bit more instead of just keep spewing shit. Now, I know that's not everybody, but I kind of like feel I want to teach them people a lesson. And then, like I've said before, I think work content creation, no matter what form, I think is art. And I think your art, your work deserves to be seen as intended. So someone should get to see what I do and what I say and all those things. And they can turn it off after 10 seconds. They have the choice. They can watch it all the way to the end. But that's their decision. And then how they process that and how they feel after and all those things, that should be like how processed by themselves. It shouldn't be influenced by other people spewing shit in the comment section, because that's inevitably what happens. Someone starts watching a video, they go to the comments and they see their reaction. And that might make them switch off early as well. I'm not saying that's not the reason why, but let's say it does. And let's say if you'd watched it all the way through, you might have grown a bit or learned something, or it's just got you thinking a bit. But that person denied you that because they were so empty-headed and they just pasted shit on a comment. I don't see the point. We don't need it. Again, it's because I don't care. You know, I'm not someone that has to go through comment sections. Sometimes I do just to see how interesting it is, because sometimes it's funny. But I don't feel the need to comment on videos. So then that makes me wonder why other people feel the need. Now, I'm not asking people to be a mirror of me, but I genuinely don't feel a need to comment on many videos, if at all. So what makes other people feel they have to comment on everything? It's just strange to me. It's like, what is it? Is it you want your name recognized? You feel your voice needs to be heard on every single topic? You have to be noticed by that person, so you want to comment on their video? Like, what is it? And I often find it's this need to be validated all the time in people's lives, that their insecurities. They're just insecure. So sometimes they act confident when really they're insecure. Again, society is always a bit of a mess at times, isn't it? There's a lot of evolution required. But yeah, I don't want to go on much further, really, to be totally honest. I will just show briefly now the one of the signs I had. Like when I said I get signs, I think it's this one, or window capture. I think I've lost what I was doing with my thing now. This one? Yeah, okay. I could give many examples of this. I could go on a massive tangent and show like 20 videos easy. Plus 20 videos plus. It really depends whether I interacted with them, but I'll share this one. I like to give people credit, so I always put credits. Usually, well, I say always. Usually, I put credits in the descriptions.
Realization that's coming into mind. It's like you're sitting at this table with this person. Maybe they're just like this high value person. They're trying to figure out what they can offer, what they can do for you. But like their first question is like, "What do you bring to the table?" I'm not even.
That's what pissed me off. So when you saw me triggered earlier, that one little bit there, what do you bring to the table? It's like, it might be an innocuous question, but it irritates me.
Been offended by that because my answer is like 3 words, and you're like, love, light, and clarity.
I was like, that is not my answer at all. So a lot of this video makes sense, but that's her answer. That's not my answer. Love, light, and clarity. It's like, yeah, it makes sense to some of the work I do, but that's not what I would ever come up with. I wouldn't say love light because I don't look. Yeah, I would never say light for starters. No, I wouldn't because I think a lot of life is polarizing. There's light and dark. I like to bring light. I like to shine light on a situation, and I do what I do for light. For higher ups, for the angelic realm and whatnot. But it doesn't come to my mind just light because I know there's a negative side as well. It's constantly in balance. So, like I just said there, like when you help people and if people are approaching me, there won't always be a positive reaction because it depends how people approach you, doesn't it? Um, Love, light, and clarity. I wouldn't talk like that.
It just shuts everyone up. It just shuts all the jaws on the floor, and they're just like,
That's her answer. I don't want to keep digressing, but I don't think if someone asked you, what do you bring? And if you sat there and go, love, light, and clarity, it's going to make everyone's jaw drop. I don't think so at all. If I was sitting in a meeting and I asked someone, like, what is it you bring? They say, love, light, and clarity. I'm going to go, that's mind blowing. That's not going to blow my mind.
like she right?
I think me turning around and walking off will blow her mind. That might get the reaction. So where she's like, well, that made a statement. That would be the statement. That's the statement because you expect everyone to kiss your ass, and you're doing the opposite, but you're not doing the opposite just to try and be different. I'm not here for this shit, I live life my way. It's just not maybe the way you expect. That's probably more the unpredictability, I guess.
I don't. Feels like something's really about to take off with your career. It feels a little unexpected. It feels like
Unexpected.
Okay. It feels like you're like maybe it's already here. Maybe it's already okay. It's already here. Don't. We have the Four of Cups coming out. So it feels like it's like already here. Maybe you're not noticing it. Maybe you're not seeing it just yet, but you're about to because it feels like there's a partnership coming in. There's a collaboration coming in. It's almost like this hand that's like bringing it in is the same hand that's like, look, like I want to collab with this with you. Like I want to do this with you. I want to be that love light.
So you might have seen me smirking. I don't know if you did, but I just saw the comments to the right hand side of me. I just don't understand why people comment. It's like claiming, manifesting. They all just start like it's almost like they're desperate for the universe to notice them. That's how I see on the comment sections. I know people think they're doing it, and they probably mean well, but it just comes across as complete desperation to me. You either want the reader to. That's what I think. I think they want the reader to notice them, and the reader to pick up on the energy of that person and say, "Yeah, this is definitely for you." That's why they do it. And for me, it's just desperation. You either feel it in you or you don't. If you feel it in you don't have to project that shit in a comment board. I'm not going to go on about it, but that just made me smirk because I just looked and think, oh, you're just desperate for it to be you.
Clarity with you. Like, my calling, I need more. I need some of that sauce. I need some of that vibe. I need some of that. I need some of that you. This is not a love reading. I need to keep it cool. But whatever it is, this is going to be very emotionally fulfilling. Heavy on the passion in it. Heavy on like whatever is coming in. It's very, very passionate, very soul driven, very dragonflies stalking me, and I'm like on the 4th floor, so they're pretty high up. But there is a fire inside that is about to be ignited through this project, through this opportunity. Like, this is going to bring a lot of fulfillment. If I'm being totally honest, this is gonna last a long time. This is going to last a lot. And
well, I'm not going to keep watching it. Like you probably see me getting bored. It's because I get signs of this all the time. Like if someone else might think if they got that, they make them excited. And they go, "Wow!" I can see like time after time this stuff, And to be honest, I've worked my ass off to get opportunities for sure. Like some people will be aware of it, some people won't. But again, I don't do it for that. I just want freedom. That's all I crave. Freedom, help people, and have some sort of like financial independence. It's not asking for a lot. Quite simple, really. And if a romance started somewhere and it's genuine and it was like something that's really going to last, then that'd be nice too, you know? Like have someone that's like loyal to you and you're loyal to them and you're like in it together. But I kind of lose hope with that. I don't have like much expectation in people nowadays, to be totally honest. There was another thing I was going to show. So I was going to show that's part of that one anyway. But then I've got all these other ones as well. Like if we just go on this one here, look.
I hope you got a good safe, darling. I hope you're ready to hire security. I hope that you got good locks on your doors and a good secure bank, because the gold diggers, I heard, she take my money when I'm in need. Oh, she's a giant people digger. Way over time.
She's going to talk a lot.
You're about to intercept. You're about to be intercepted. I just came down my single lane driveway and someone was pulling in, and when I was pulling out, that never happens. That has never happened. So there's something to do with gold diggers, people in your business, people wanting to like scooch up real close in the bleachers. They want to be front row when you get crowned.
So I mean, it get boring for me. But this is like time and time again. It's like continuous with me, you know. I'm not going to go through them. I can't be bothered. I'm not here to validate. Just thought I'd explain really the signs I get. Again, I could keep going on with this one, but I'm bored looking. I tell the universe, stop showing me this shit now. I don't want to see it. You know, you've been showing me long enough. Like the reality is, I've been on my spiritual journey for like 5 years, 2020. Hasn't been as long as you'd think. Like on paper, you'd say it's not long, but when you've experienced it, and I've done so much in that time. Like I've done all these books in that time, you know, and all these other experiences and all these videos I've done, and there's just a lot that's happened in that period that you would think it's been 20 years. So I'm resentful that it hasn't. My life isn't better yet, in a way. But when you think about it time-wise, it hasn't been that long. So it stands to reason something you would expect to happen eventually. But having said that, I'm ambivalent either way. I just really want to be. I just want something fair. That's all I ask the universe for. It's like I just want fair. Like I haven't been. It's not. There's been no reciprocity at all. I've done everything asked of me. I've done these videos continuously. I've done so many books. There's more books to come. And my life's been just heavy and hard the whole way. I feel like I just said there, you know, it's still a struggle just from 1 month to the next. One thing I've said for a long time, personally, like people close to me, is if I see my books, and I've always said that, if my books sell in America, then I think that's the sign that things are picking up. I've always said that. So, especially my spiritual book, if I see that, if that starts selling in America, then something might be happening. And like, I haven't sold a lot of copies, believe me, because I go through huge periods where I don't sell anything. Because I'm not a promoter, I don't like self promotion. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. So I don't do any of that marketing crap. But over the past month or 4 weeks, I've sold a few copies of the books in America. My Losing Mind to Find Your Soul book, and even recently, yesterday, I think it was another copy. And these are all the paperbacks, from my understanding. So hopefully that means word of mouth is spreading, because that's kind of what you want. You don't want, like, if you get a random person buy it and then it's just another random person, it's like there's no chain reaction. If you get someone likes it and then they share it with someone else, and then that person goes and buys it, and then they share it, and then people might have even shared their own copies. So although I think a few people have read it, it might be more people have read it than you know. And just seeing it growing at the moment is a nice feeling. And the fact that it's in America, because I think America is just where they are more spiritual over there than they are in the UK, and I think that sort of industry is more likely to thrive there. But yeah, it's just interesting how that's growing. And then when I get that on top of this, it's like this is nice little confirmations, because that's the thing I always said would happen if it's going to be successful. And it's just starting to grow now, kind of in line with the videos, you know. But anyway, hopefully it's been interesting, because that's what I like to do. I like to just, sometimes I think a topic's pointless to talk about, or I don't think that's that good, or this and that. But sometimes I think I don't realize what people need to hear, you know? So it might be that me doing that, me talking on this has been like insightful to someone else. And, you know, in so many ways, it's like not about like looking at, it's really important we don't look at other people's lives, feel jealous, envious, and all those feelings. It's appreciate what you have and have your own goals and dreams, but understand the consequence of those goals and dreams, you know? So there's no point being envious of someone living a life that maybe you wouldn't even be able to handle. And likewise, it's like it's no point like dreaming of something different if you're content and happy enough with what you have. Like I said, but everything's polarizing. You might have someone that's got so much money. They live this life that you would just think is a fairy tale. Only because you've lived the life. When I said about chapters, and I think everybody, there are times when we can live entirely different lives in this lifetime too. And I think if you've lived a life where it's been such one way for so long and you're craving something else, maybe you're just yearning for a new life, a new lease of life, but it's going to cost you your old one. So you've got to ask how much you know what I mean? So we have to look at that and think about how much we're prepared to lose. So it's really important we don't focus so much on other people's lives, but focus on our own. So one person's nightmare is another's dream, So if you live a very simple life, someone that's busy all the time might just wish they had that simple life. Doesn't mean you can't dream for different or anything, but sometimes I think it's just worth reflecting on what you have and think, yeah, I am lucky to have this, especially at this moment in time. Yeah, this is all right. And it's just be content with that. But then, of course, have your own dreams. But it's like, make it your dream, not chase someone else's dream, because that's just pointless. Anyway, hopefully this has been, I think it's probably been deeper than I probably think it has. And I think hopefully it's been introspective, reflective and all that. I think open people's eyes to things. Anyway, hopefully it's been interesting.